What's up, YouTube? It's your friendly neighborhood gamer, your host, Coach Key, and welcome to Legends of Dice Cafe, where we learn about tabletop RPGs from old school to modern, and do lots and lots of solo gameplay. Back with my weekly video like I do every Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. In today's video, we're going to do a solo play using the Lone Wolf series. This is a pretty cool series, especially if you are new to role-playing games and new to solo role-playing games. This is a fantastic start. So we're going to go through the character creation, which is super easy. It has the rules inside it. It has everything that you need to create your character and begin your journey and probably die a few times. I'm not exactly sure. And this is one of many in the series. And I am currently working on my first zine, which will be available on my Patreon. Again, Patreon is free to join, so make sure you hop on over there so you don't miss out on any of the cool content that I will be releasing there very, very soon. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into some character creation, and some solo gameplay. Let's get it. All right, so let's get into it. I got my dice. I got a couple different colors just in case one's not working properly. And then my cool little dice tray, and then I printed out a character sheet. It has one in the front of the book. So yeah, the character sheet is in the front of the book, which is pretty cool. Now this character sheet, it doesn't have the weapons section on here for some reason, unless I'm overlooking it, because that happens at times. But yeah, I can just put it somewhere else. So check this out. When I first picked this book up to play, okay, when it got to the combat section, I saw this page and I'm like, what the absolute hell, okay? But I picked it up a few weeks ago and I went over the combat and now I understand, and it is very super simple. So I'm picking it back up. Now, like I said, this is a really cool book to jump into just for a quick game as well. Very easy to travel with game as well. Super mobile. And again, you're looking for a way to get into solo play, or you're looking for a way to just get into role-playing games in general. I think this is a great start. I personally started with Fabled Lands. I have 2 of these books, and they're pretty cool as well, and they're really easy. You've got your character creation, your rules, everything that you need inside of this book. You don't have to go anywhere else. Everything that you need is inside of this book, or inside of these books. Character creation, your rules, and your adventure. But first we're going to do a character creation. I've only created a character one time. Like I said, I started my journey, and then we got to the combat section. I was like, oh, hex to the knot when I saw all those numbers and stuff. I'm not bad in math, but it's just not my favorite subject. So it starts with the character. Let me put this down because this thing makes noises. I noticed last time when I was editing the video. I kind of fidget, I move, I have a lot of energy sometimes, and sometimes I just kind of move. So I think I was moving the pen back and forth, and I heard it. So the story is I think pronounce it. It's Kai. Hopefully I'm pronouncing it correct. So you're called, what it is a Kai. You are a young Kai, a cadet called Lone Wolf. This is the name you were given by your Kai masters when first you entered the monastery. You are initiate in this noble order, and this will be the 8th year you have taken part in the Feymarn ceremony. On this faithful morning, you have been sent to collect firewood in the forest as a punishment for your inattention in class. As you are preparing to return, you see, to your horror, a vast black cloud of black, leathery creatures swoop out of the western skies and engulf the monastery. The Dark Lords, ancient enemy of some lending, are attacking. War has begun. Dropping the wood, you race to battle that has already begun, but in the unnatural dark, you stumble and strike your head on a low tree branch. As you lose consciousness, the last thing you see in the distant shadows is the walls of the monastery and its warning tower, the crystal beacon crashing to the ground. Many hours pass before you awake. With tears in your eyes, you now survey the scene of destruction. Raising your face to the clear sky, you swear vengeance on the Dark Lords for the massacre of the Kai warriors. And with a sudden flash of realization, you know what you must do. You must set off on a perilous journey to the capital city to warn the king of the terrible threat that now faces his people. For you are now the last Kai. You are the lone wolf. That sounded intense. So then it goes into the game rules. And these are so super. They're really easy, really simple. And I'm pretty sure I got this book on Amazon for like, I don't know, maybe $11. Each adventure can be played separately or combined to create a continuous 52. Does that say 52? I had to take my glasses off for that one. It's to create a continuous 32 book role playing epic. So 32 books. And of course, here we are right here, beginning our journey. So here we go. So this is a part of the character creation, the game rules. During your training as a Kai initiate, you have developed your fighting prowess, combat skill, your physical stamina, and your physical stamina endurance. So we're going to start with creating our combat. So the first number that you pick from the random number table represents your combat skill. Add 10 to that number you choose and write the total in your combat skill. So it gives you the option. There is a random number table in the book, and I guess you're supposed to close your eyes and then just point, and whatever number you point to is the number that, you know. So here you go, your random number table. Or it says that you can use a D10. So that's exactly what we're going to use. Is I'm going to use a D10. But this is a pretty cool system as well. Closing your eyes and just kind of picking a number. For our combat, we're going to roll a D10 and then we're going to add 10 to create our combat skill. So our skill, that's awesome. It's going to be 19 because it does let you know a high score in this section is desirable. So, because of course this will be, when it comes to combat, you're going to use this right here. So, and the second number that you pick from the random number table represents your endurance. And then you're going to add 20 to that number and write the total in your endurance section. 7. So we've got 17. Not bad scores at all, because the last time I played this, my scores were not very high. So let's see. And of course, down here it does let you know you may find it more convenient to use a 10-sided die. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to choose 5 kind of like special abilities. So over the centuries, the Kai have mastered many useful skills, which are passed on from generation to generation. These skills are known as the Kai disciplines, and they are taught to all Kai lords. As a Kai initiate, you have learned only 5 of the skills listed below. You must choose your 5 Kai disciplines before you set off on your journey. So, and you've got a few to choose from. I know for a fact I definitely want to add the weapon skill on here. So I'm gonna add that down now. I know what I wanted. I want to do camouflage, and I definitely want to do hunting and healing as well. All right, so far what we've got is camouflage. So this discipline enables Kai Lord to blend in with their surroundings in the countryside. They are able to hide undetected among trees and rocks and pass close to an enemy without being seen. In a town, it enables them to blend in amongst the inhabitants and can help to find shelter or safe hiding place. Yeah, so I thought that was pretty cool. And then of course hunting, because you're going to need to eat, and it's important to eat in the game. Healing, I thought, was fantastic, because I think tracking is cool. This skill enables Kai Lord to make the correct choice of path in the wild, to discover the location of a person or object in a town, and to read the secrets of footprints or tracks. That's interesting, because there was something else that I actually wanted to do as well. So I've got weapons, skill, camouflage, hunting, healing. And then with weapon, when you enter combat carrying a specific weapon, you add 2 points to your combat skill rating. Now, it does let you know the fact that you are skilled with the weapon does not mean you set on the adventure carrying that particular weapon. However, you will have opportunities to acquire weapons in the course of your adventures. And you do roll for which weapon. So you roll a d10, and that will let you know exactly which weapon you will be most skillful in. So I got a 2, and it's going to be a short sword. So I'm going to put weapon up here, and you can carry, I think, up to 2 weapons is what they're saying. And then we have one more that we can do. So I was thinking Mind Blast. Any one of these three I thought would be pretty cool. So Mind Shield, some of your enemies will have the ability to attack you using Psychic Force. The power of their mind, the Kai discipline of Mind Shield can protect you from losing any endurance. And of course, once your endurance points go all the way down, that's how you end up dying. That's how you die. And then Mind Blast, the skill enables Kai Lord to attack an enemy using force of their mind. I thought that would be pretty interesting. And then if you choose this skill, you write Mind Blast, and then you do a +2 to your combat skill points on your action table. So I'm gonna do Mind Blast. So let's see, you're gonna get a green tunic, a cloak of the Kai Initiate. You get a backpack with 1 meal in it, a belt, and a leather pouch in which you keep your money, which are called gold crowns. So to find out how much you have, you're gonna roll a d10 or pick from the number in the back. Ooh, that's not bad at all. 9. So I have 9 gold crowns, and I'm going to put that in my belt pouch because it says right here containing gold crowns, and you can do a maximum of 50. Wow, I'm making some pretty good rolls tonight. So let's see what else. Oh, and you also get a map. Every initiate is given a map of the Last Lands, and your possessions comprise the axe with which you have been sent to fetch firewood. So we get to note that on our weapons. And next up is how to carry your equipment. How to carry and use your equipment. Any item that may be of use and can be picked up on your adventure and entered on your action chart is given capital letters in the text unless you are told it is a special item or a weapon carried in your backpack. So let's see. So weapons, weapon age in combat. If you have a Kai discipline weapon skill and the correct weapon, I didn't take that into account. It adds 2 points to your combat skill. So maybe I'll take out no, because you do have an opportunity to collect more weapons. Let me think about that. Well, I'm gonna stick with the weapon skill. And of course, you can only have 8 items in your backpack. And if you do not have food when you are instructed to eat a meal, you will lose 3 endurance points. Oh, look, see, and if you have chosen the Kai discipline of hunting as one of your 5 skills, you will not need to tick off a meal when instructed to eat. Fantastic. And then it goes to the rules in combat. And this is pretty simple. And maybe we can go over it real quick right now. And then I'll show you. So what you do is, so you add any extra points you gain, like through your Kai discipline. Like if I was using the correct weapon, a short sword, then I can add my +2 to my combat still. All right, so I'm thinking maybe I write the 19 and then I just add the 2 when it's time for combat. So I'll just leave it at 19 with a +2 on the side. So let's see. So you add or any special items to your combat skill as well. Subtract the combat skill of your enemy from this total. And then it's going to give you an example, which is super awesome. And the result is your combat ratio. So let's say, for instance, the lone wolf skill was 15, and you are ambushed by a monster whose combat skill is 20. You have the Kai discipline of Mind Blast. So you add 2 points of your combat skill. You add 2 points to your combat skill, which gives you a 17 since you had a 15. So you get to add +2. And then you subtract the monster's combat skill, which was 20, so 17 minus 20, and then you get a -3. Once you've determined your combat ratio, which is that 17 minus the 20, your combat ratio ends up being a -3. So you pick a number from the random table chart. So we're just going to roll a d20. I'm sorry, we're going to roll a d10. And we're going to do a 5. So we're going to take that -3 and we're going to search it up here. And here it is right here is a -3. And then we're going to go down and we're going to find the 5. And these are going to be all the points that the enemy and the PC actually lose. So now you have the number of endurance points lost by both yourself and your enemy. So E, of course, represents enemy, and PC represents your player characters. So we had a -3 and then we rolled a 5. So the enemy loses 5 endurance points and our PC loses 4. So see, Pretty simple, pretty easy. And then it does have evasion. If you have already engaged in a round of combat and you decide to evade, calculate the combat for the round, which we just did. We just did an example, and in the usual manner, all points lost by the enemy as a result of that round are ignored since you're evading, and you make your escape. Only you, the lone wolf, may lose endurance points during an evading round. So only you lose points. So see, super easy. So pretty much that's it for our character sheet. And then it says you begin the lone wolf adventures with this level of Kai training, and that's initiate. So, and next up you have the map that you're given. Now we begin our journey. You must make haste, for you sense it is not safe to linger by the smoking remains of the ruined monastery. The black-winged beast could return at any moment. You must set out for the Somlanding capital, hopefully I'm saying that right, of Holgard, and tell the king the terrible news of the massacre, that the whole elite, I think that says elite, that the whole elite of the Kai, save yourself, have been slaughtered. Without the Kai lords to lead the regiments of the Somlanding armies, Summerland will be at the mercy of their ancient enemy, the Dark Lords. Fighting back tears, you bid farewell to your dead kin, your fellow Kai initiates, Rain Dove, Steel Sky, and Snow Falcon, your own tutor, Master Starfire, the leader of your order, Grandmaster Brave Blade, and so many others. Silently, you promise that their deaths will be avenged. You turn away from the ruins and carefully descend the steep track. At the foot of the hill, the path splits into two directions, both leading into a large wood. If you possess the Kai discipline of Sixth Sense, which we do not, and wish to use it, turn to 141. In which we do not. So if you do not possess the Kai discipline, or if you choose not to use it, you may follow the right path into the wood, turn to 85. If you wish to take the left track instead, turn to 275. Alright, so yes is 1 to 3, or right is 1 to 3, and then left is 4 to 6. We got 1, so we're going to go right. Turn to 85. So the track passes through a patch of thick undergrowth and then widens as it passes through the trees beyond. Gradually, you know what? Hold on. The track passes through a patch of thick undergrowth and then widens as it passes through the trees beyond. Gradually, the chilling sounds of the fire and destruction that is taking place at the monastery fades behind you, until you are swallowed up by the unnatural stillness of the forest. You cover more than a mile of track before you hear another sound. But is it one that sets your pulse racing once more? The unmistakable beating of large wings approaches swiftly from the west. Looking up through the thin canopy of branches, you are shocked to see the sinister black outline of a crane. Hopefully that's how you pronounce that. It has spotted you and it is diving to attack. If you want to raise your weapon and prepare to fight, turn to 229. I'm thinking let's try out combat. And yeah, let's try out combat. So if you want to raise your weapon and prepare to fight, turn to 229. So it swoops down to hover above you, raising dust from the track. With the beating of its leathery black wings, the dust cloud fills your eyes and nose, and as you start to cough, the beast seizes its advantage and launches its attack. It's determined to kill you, and you must fight to the death. Because of the choking dust, you must reduce your combat skill, by 1 point, by 1 point for the duration of the fight. Alright, so my endurance is 25 at the current moment. The enemy's endurance is 25, and my PC's endurance is 17. And then for combat, I have 18 combat skill, and the monster has 16 combat skill. The PC, I'm going to subtract the enemies from my combat skill. So first we get our combat ratio, and then we're going to roll and 7. So we're going to come to our combat table, and we're going to go to 2. Since it's not a negative, And then we're going to go to, what did I roll? A 7. Oh, wow. All right, so the enemy loses 10 endurance points, and I lose 1. Sucker. So this time around, I'll use the Mind Blast. So I'm going to add 2, so 20 minus 4, 20 minus 16. And our combat ratio is going to end up being 4 with me using Mind Blast, which is a +2 to my combat skill. So we're going to find that ratio. And then I'm going to roll the dice. And I got a 7, so 4, and then a 7. Ooh, this is what I'm talking about. Enemy loses 11 endurance points, and I lose 1 endurance point. We are not doing bad at all. So we'll do the 18 minus 16, which again is going to give us a combat ratio of 2. And what was that again? Oh, and then we're going to roll the dice. 7. Sheesh. I love that 7. My birthday is July the 4th. So I love the number 7, and I love 3. Not 4, but 3. So let's see, combat ratio of 2, and then it's going to be 7, so they lose 10 hit points. So now they're down to 1. Just fantastic, and I lose 1 hit point. Right, and then we're going to repeat it again, and we already know our combat ratio is going to be 2, so we're going to roll to see. So we got a 7 again. Oh my god. Lucky number 7. So we got a 2, and again, so that enemy is done with. I do lose 1 hit point. So we're going to do 13. So that is the end of that battle. I have the healing discipline. So we'll check that out in a sec. If the combat goes to a 4th round, do not continue any further. Turn instead to 203. So I think I messed that up. So since we're just going to stick with this. So if you kill him within 3 rounds, we're going to go ahead and turn 94. And we'll make sure we read on before we start our battle next time. Alright, so the vile sage, upon seeing that you have killed his son, turns and disappears from the shop by way of a back door. You attempt to give chase, but quickly discover that the door has been bolted shut from the other side. Cursing the cowardly accomplice, you return to the body of your would-be killer and search his clothes. Tucked inside his watercoat, you find a wanted poster. The 2 men who are pictured on the poster match the dead youth and the older man who has just escaped. The printed text identifies them as Mordrel, the murderer, and his psychopathic son, Vort. When you search the shop, you discover a dagger. Ooh, okay. Let me see. But a dagger is a weapon, and I have a short. Well, I don't have a short sword. I'm just skilled with a short sword. So at the moment, I don't have a short sword. I'm just skillful in using that, so I guess I can pick up the dagger. And then I also get to add the 12 coins. I started writing it down, all the stuff down, before I even kept reading to see if we could actually keep it. So let's see, 12 gold crowns and a purse that was dropped by Mordrel during his hasty escape, and 4 gold crowns also in a wooden box behind the screen. You also make another much grimmer discovery when you search the damp cellar. The real owner of this shop is lying there dead, killed no doubt by Mordrel and Vort. Awesome. So let me add that in. That's 4. Oh, we doing big tonight. When you examine the potions, the wand, you soon realize that they are all cheap counterfeits. In fact, this entire shop is full of fake artifacts and quack medicines. Saddened and angered by your experience here, you leave the shop and slam its creaky door shut behind you. You return to the main avenue, and as you are waiting for your chance to push into the teeming crowds, you notice a faded street sign on a wall above your head. It says Shadow Alley. You have just made your first and hopefully last visit to Holmgard's darkest corner. Turn to 7. Bum bum bum. Alright, so for what seems an eternity, the rush of crowd carries you along a leaf on a fast-flowing stream. You desperately fight to stay on your feet, but you feel weak and dizzy from your ordeal, and your legs are as heavy as lead. suddenly you catch a glimpse of a long, narrow stone stairway that leads up to the roof of an inn. Mustering your reserves of strength, you force your way out of the crowd and chamber up the stairway. You stop halfway for a few minutes, to catch your breath and rest your aching legs. Then slowly you complete your climb to the top. From the very high vantage point, you get a magnificent view of the rooftops and spires of Homeguard. All right, so we'll pick this back up at a later date. So definitely stay tuned. I hope you enjoyed it. And again, you can get this on Amazon. It's probably like $11 and some change. And you see, you don't even need dice. All you need is this. And it comes with a character sheet inside of it already. So you don't even need anything except the book and something to write with. So this is pretty cool. So definitely stay tuned. And thanks for watching. On the adventures of the Lone Wolf, Flight from the Dark, Part 1. Alright, so thank you so much for taking the time out, as always, to watch the videos and watch the content that I put a lot of heart and a lot of time into. And just in case, if you made it all the way to the end of this video, do you guys see this cool book that came in that I will be reviewing sometime soon on this channel, purchased from ttrpg, and it came in pretty good condition. I like the print. We'll get more into this on a different day. I hope you have a super, super fantastic rest of your Friday and an awesome weekend as well. And I hope you play something fun this weekend too. As always, don't forget to make sure you hit that like button, make sure you comment, and make sure you hit the subscribe button. And don't forget to turn on your notifications so you don't miss out on any of the content that I drop every single week. And I'll see you guys same time next week, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And